Приветствую дорогих подписчиков, гостей моего канала. Продолжаем проходить игру a.noire. Я уже то ли 7-я, то ли 8-я часть. Ну, в общем, идем дальше. Честно, даже и забыл. Хорошо. Значит, точно помню название дела. Это убийство секретарша. Вот оно и написано, собственно говоря. Собственно говоря. Опача. Я думаю, что тоже как бы одно видео, оно, одно, ну да, одно дело на одном видео будет, потому что большое, много ездить надо. В принципе, как обычно. Секундочку, ребята.
Keep a hold of your hat. Now is not the time to lose your nerve. It would appear that someone has hocked a rose gold.
Вот это уже интереснее.
Press the pawnbroker and see what you can find out. The address is 348 South Main Street. The Muller case goes before the grand jury next week, and the DA does not want any.
Я про что и говорил.
Then get out
Все
to the
так просто.
railroad depot on Santa Fe Avenue. We have another poor unfortunate found this morning beside a railroad line.
Right, skipper.
А все, да. Погнали.
Another body in Deirdre Muller's ring. The Emperor may soon have to come to terms with the fact that he's wearing no clothes.
А, вот же выход, да. Да нет, это не выход. Сорян. Вот выход. Так, что у нас? Ну куда поедем? Поехали в ломбард съездим. Посмотрим, чем там нам дадут.
Got to admit, this is looking odd.
Anyone could pawn a ring.
Ну, да, может быть, кто-то и другой.
Witnesses have fingered the wrong guy before.
He ran, for God's sakes.
And he always maintained he was set up.
Ну что ж, бывает. Здорово.
Detectives Phelps and Galloway, LAPD. You have a rose gold wedding and engagement ring?
David Bremner. Am I gonna get something for this pledge? Gave that bum money, now you guys are gonna leave me short.
How much did you get?
$50?
Try another number.
20?
Try 10. Feel lucky you're getting it.
I have the rings right here.
Короче, за десятку сторговались. Выбираем.
What's this mark here?
Maker's mark. Usually traceable. That one came from Hartfield's Jewelry down on Broadway.
Thanks for the tip.
Так. Ну, в смысле?
Does this mark mean anything?
Hallmark. Gives you an idea of the quality.
Ладно.
What have you got on the guy who brought these in?
Goes by the name of Percy B. Shelley. Gave an address. 15 Poland Street.
Лондон.
Tulare
Понятно.
Can you give us a description of the man who pawned these rings?
Not sure. Medium height, medium build. Dark hair, I think. Sorry. He just had one of those forgettable faces.
We'll be in touch.
Короче, мне ничего не дало это. Погнали на место преступления.
Can you drive to this one?
Where exactly are we going?
We have a problem.
Проблема,
Have the
да.
local troopers check out the Blair County address.
The address is bogus.
Угу.
Purpose happened in Los-Angeles.
Ух ты,
Guy who sent
неплохо
the
он
document is also the guy who pawned the rings.
поездом проехал под этим трамвайчиком.
Percy Bysshe Shelley wrote the poem that came with the Dahlia letter.
Угу.
Dahlia letters are genuine. The man who killed Elizabeth Short may have also killed
Да, да,
Dear
да, да, да.
Beloved.
And how do we prove that, though? Skipper ain't gonna like this one.
We're gonna have to rely on this guy tripping up on his own vanity.
You boys ready? Follow me.
We should keep this development with the rings under our hat until these people get it.
We're all
Ох, меня довозят даже сюда. Прикольно.
Chain of command, Phelps. The skipper will decide who needs to know.
Интересно.
Got it?
I get it, Rusty. I just don't like it.
Ну на путях-то... А, ну их все равно цепили уже, наверное, тут. Ну, на пути, если встанем. Такое себе. Так, ну что у нас? Ой.
Hard, isn't it?
Yeah. I look after all the rail depots.
What have you got?
The Negro, Nelson Gaines, called it in. I came down here to make sure him and the other guy, Jameson, stuck around.
Jameson found the body?
Ну,
Something
вообще-то,
like that. Guy
как
makes me
такое
sick.
могу сказать?
We'll talk to the
Ну,
coroner. Keep an eye on both of them.
так. Играли. Ну, вот. Я не буду говорить. Так, пойдем. Так, и тут двое сидят. Пойдем посмотрим, что у нас тут.
Leave the car in front of the hydrant and I'll give you
What
a
are you
ticket.
thinking, Ray?
The city keeps tossing us dead bodies.
Угу.
We're just running to catch up.
Понятно. Ну ты хорошо много сказал. Давай тоже посмотрим, что это такое у нас. Ну, какая-то типа. Да. Что ж ты сидел ты? Смотрел, как интересно, важно. Так, ну это тоже мне точно не важно. Так. Погнали. Так, что у нас тут есть? У нас тут есть винный магазин.
This is a chit for personal items, not booze. It's an angle worth investigating.
Угу. То ли заложил, то ли еще что. Так, хорошо. Спички. Да что такое? Почему так? Блин, как... А чё? Ага, вверх надо нажать, а я в сторону жму. Да, вот немножко.
If someone mentions, we'll remember her.
Сумочка. Так, письмо и что-то какая-то хрень. Кис. Так. Ага, это что, она где работает, что ли, да?
We could go over to the lot and see what they know about her.
That's gonna be difficult, Cole.
Угу.
Keystone Studio lot closed back in 41.
Угу. Интересно. Ну да, старая зачем-то носила с собой свидетельство. Так, ну-ка, что у нас тут? Ну, давайте вам почитаю. Ну, это адрес. Милая Эвелин, я надеюсь, ты будешь читать это письмо в лучшем состоянии, чем в том, которым ты была, когда мы расстались. Мы наговорили друг другу много лишнего. Ты тогда слишком много выпила, а мы обе знаем, какой ты бываешь после этого. Но я пишу тебе не для того, чтобы нападать и обвинять. Я хочу извиниться. Мое сердце чуть не разорвалось, когда я увидела, что стало с моей маленькой девочкой, что она делает с собой. Эвелин, алкоголь разрушает твое тело и душу, и видеть это мне тяжелее, чем ты думаешь. Но лишь всемогущий Господь вправе судить нас, и поэтому я прошу тебя прощения. Я посоветовался по поводу тебя в одном санатории здесь, в Коннектикуте. Они говорят, что твое состояние это болезнь, ее можно вылечить. Тебе просто надо поправить здоровье. Это не... Ну да. Получается, все, да. Все, больше не читается. Ну, погнали дальше. Пошли осматривать, что жертвы. Так, подожди, а если мы сначала поговорим?
What have we got here?
White female, approximately 40 years of
40
age.
лет.
Lipstick smudges on the face, but no writing, at least nothing legible. A blunt force trauma to the temple, nose, and eye regions. Ligature marks point to the probable cause of death being strangulation.
Any idea of the time of death?
From her temperature, after midnight would be my guess.
Все, да? Правильно. Так, что у нас тут на голове?
Smell?
Very good. There is the usual evacuation smell, but it appears she's been living rough for quite some time.
Бомжиха была.
Very strong smell of alcohol.
Well, the autopsy will tell, but I would assume that she was inebriated.
Ну, понятно, понял. Так. Тоже кольца нет, да?
Another missing ring.
Certainly seems I've been swabbing a lot of bare fingers recently.
Can you be more exact about the time of death?
No later than 2 a.m. The state the body was in, a 1 or 2 hour window is the best I can do.
Так, что очень интересно показывалось. А, вниз нельзя, да? Только вот эту сторону. Ну, значит, еще одну руку посмотрим. Ничего интересного нет. Так. Так, встаем.
Blood splatter on the carriage. She must have been struck while standing up.
Жестко. Так, ну что у нас получается? Идем разговаривать, либо можно выяснить адрес, да? Сбегать до телефона. Ладно, пусть пока стоят. А может вдруг что-нибудь потом понадобится. Ладно, пошли. Чего вы тут присели? Интересно показ. Ну, пода.
Detective Phelps, LAPD homicide.
John Ferdinand Jameson.
We need you to answer some questions, John.
If you don't mind, I prefer Ferdinand.
Don't push your luck, knucklehead.
What were you doing to the body, Ferdinand?
Are you sure you won't be upset?
Понятно все.
Ferdinand.
I was kissing her. It's not against the law.
Shut up.
There's no
Take
law
your
against
beating
it.
like a man.
Turn out your pockets, Ferdinand.
Ага, помада. Ну, мудил. Еще и помаду какую-то припрятал.
Classic Carmine. Is this yours, Ferdinand?
No. I found it near her purse. I thought
А
she
зачем
used
тащишь
it.
себе?
Rusty, stop. Don't hit it.
Понятно.
You went through her purse?
It wasn't like she needed it. I took a look.
Понятно.
Did you take any money?
Wasn't any to take. I found her lipstick and her matchbook over on the mat. Not much else.
You found the body?
Yes, I did. I work here. I was coming off shift and headed home.
А тут он уже отводит в сторону. Так.
Why didn't you report the body, Jameson? Do you know how this is going to look to a jury?
A jury? What gives? I could tell that she was dead.
Кое-что
I
ты
came
сделал,
through here
да?
about midnight last night. She wasn't here then.
Let me belt him again.
You're under arrest, Jameson. We'll see how this plays out.
Да не, ну
Until
это,
then,
конечно,
think
не
alone
ладно.
how you'd like to be treated.
Какой-то извращенец
I'm telling you, it's not
покойниками
illegal. Me and some friends of mine.
целовать. Это же надо ж таким быть должен.
Fine. You get this sack of shit into a cell. I'll deal with him later.
Sure, Rusty.
Leave the car in front of the hydrant.
Так, теперь поговорим с афроамериканцем.
Detective Phelps and Galloway, homicide. Can you tell me exactly what happened?
We were shutting cars over to the main line when I saw this man here lying on top of this woman. The
Целовал
woman
лежа.
wasn't moving and seemed to be in a bad way.
What time was this?
About 7:30 this morning, sir.
Thanks for your help. Have you given Patrolman Hart your details?
I have, sir.
Thank you. You can go now.
Так, и чё? И чё, у меня телефон? Телефон убежать, побежали к телефону. Побежали, съездим.
Phelps, 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
I need an address on Levine's Liquor, closest store to the Santa Fe Avenue rail yard if possible.
Just a moment, Detective. Closest store would be the one at 939 South Hope Street.
Thanks.
Угу. Погнали. Чё, погоним в магазин?
I'm stumped. Ideas?
Что скажешь?
I say we try the liquor store next.
Ну это-то понятно, что ты взял лучше. Я даже не сомневаюсь.
You can drive.
Так, ты в магазин поехал.
Fine. Where are we headed? Read that those goddamn Chinese want to sell the relief food that we're sending them?
Yeah, I read about that.
Да.
People are
Want to sell the food to fund the civil war against the communists.
Really? Guess that's okay.
Armies can't fight without food. You spend all your money on weapons, but you still have to have a will to fight. Fortunately, the Reds will win in China.
Watch your mouth. You know what you're saying?
The people of this country overthrew the king. You think the Chinese will balk at an emperor if they are starving?
What can I do for you?
LAPD, Phelps and Galloway. We're making inquiries into the murder of Evelyn Summers.
Evelyn? She's dead?
You knew Evelyn Summers, Mr.
Robbins. Yes, I knew Evelyn. I was a good friend of her ex-husband.
She kept some of
her stuff here.
Can you show us, please?
Sure. Come this way.
А, здесь желание, да, у него получается.
You got some fine stock here, Mr. Robbins. Now, you let us take some to the road, this case might get solved a lot quicker.
He's joking, Mr. Robbins.
Так, где у нас это все интересненького? Книжка какая-то, фотография.
She wasn't always such a loner.
Угу. Аристотель. Вот это нормальная книга для чтения.
Aristotle?
Evelyn wasn't stupid. The stupid thing about her was her need to drink.
Понятно. Ну давай посмотрим, что там.
And she was borrowing books from Grosvenor McCaffrey.
Угу. Кто это такой? Нам пока не известно, да? Да тут, наверное, ничего не известно. Evelyn Summers. Угу.
Guessing Evelyn hadn't held down a job for quite some time
Да.
before she was killed.
Это что, статуэтка? Угу.
When exactly did Evelyn work in the pictures?
A few years ago. She worked in legal copyrights for music.
Интересно. Ну, а игры, наверное, смотреть не надо. Дальше. А, нет, надо. Надо смотреть, оказывается.
Rawlings bowling alley. Maybe Evelyn did something other than drinking.
Rawlings. I know that place. Corner of 9th and Grand. A lot of cops bowl there on Tuesday nights.
Съездим, обязательно смотрим. Нет, оказывается, важная улика. Окей. Что думаешь? А где это-то? Пойдем его допросим. Ну-ка давай рассказывай, кажись. Так, мистер... кто там это? Робинс, да? Так, контакты.
Trying to account for Evelyn's movements yesterday.
She came by in the morning.
A social visit to pick up some of her things?
She had a couple of bucks and bought a quart of rye.
Any idea where the money came from?
She didn't mention it. But she did say the booze was a present for a boy. She said they had been fighting and she had to make it up to him.
Were you and Evelyn close, Mr. Robbins?
Not many people will be sad she's gone. I'll be one of the few.
I got the impression that Evelyn had been sleeping rough of late.
It became difficult for me to have her stay here. Her mother was
Ну,
trying to
понятно,
get her
письмо
back on the
отправить,
straight and
понятно.
narrow. She's old now. To be honest, you have to have a good reason to want to get back on.
Личность МакКэфи.
Do you know a friend of Evelyn's by the name of McCaffrey?
Not personally.
МакКэфи. Но глаза отводишь.
We're struggling for leads, Robbins. Did she know McCaffrey?
She idolized him. From what I gather, the feeling was far from mutual. He seems to peddle a revolutionary stance, fixing the ills of society. You could see how it would appeal to down-and-outs like Evelyn.
Thanks for your help, Mr. Robbins.
No problem. Hey, I'd like to make arrangements for the funeral. You think I could get in touch with Evelyn's mother?
Put in a call to the watch commander at Central Station, Mr. Robbins. He'll be trying to reach the next of kin.
Thanks. Get the guy, huh?
Да поймаем, конечно.
Evelyn never hurt anybody.
Так, что, теперь следующее надо. У нас есть два места, где еще можно посетить, съездить.
You know the way. You can drive.
Барчик съездим.
Are we going?
Это чё? А, ну ладно. Ладно. Бывает.
Drink, fellas.
Phelps, Galloway, homicide. We need to ask you some questions concerning Evelyn Summers.
I'm Walter Mensch. Evelyn Summers, what is it now?
You knew Evelyn?
As well as I wanted to know Evelyn. She's a pain in the ass, always coming in here, cadging drinks, never had any money. She was in just a couple of nights ago.
Did she ever tell you where she was staying?
I don't know. I think she was living rough. She had that kind of stunk about her.
Who did she drink with?
A bunch of these guys. Ask around.
Интересно.
What's your name?
Вот МакКэфи. А, вот и
Mind
он.
if I ask you some questions, Mr. McCaffrey?
I'm just a starving writer, detective. What do you
Понятно.
want to ask about?
Evelyn Summers? and why she was found beaten and strangled in the rail depot on Santa Fe.
Okay. I see your point.
How well did you know her?
I can't say that I knew her. It was more like I was aware of her.
Интересно. Интересно.
Do you have a criminal record, Mr. McCaffrey?
Nothing serious. I've had a few skirmishes.
Ага, глазки так как хлопают.
You want to save me some time, or do you want me to look up your file?
Industrial disputes, strikes, workers' rights,
Интересно.
that kind of thing.
A regular fifth columnist. Nice to meet you, comrade.
Связь.
You say you barely knew Evelyn?
Yes, that is correct.
Ну, сомневаюсь.
I don't like you, McCaffrey. You look like someone who's trying too hard, like your whole
Опс,
life is
а
some
я
kind of
помню.
performance. I think you need to give us something to get us out of your life.
Ага. А можно как-то переиграть?
I don't like you either, you pompous, stiff-necked patrician.
У него
You think I
же...
don't see
Блядь,
through you
неправильно
and all
написал,
the
да?
other minions of the ruling class?
Связь жертвы. А повторить еще раз
Did
не...
you see Evelyn last night?
No, I was at home, writing.
Вот это понятно.
Do you want to get dragged into this, McCaffrey? Do you want us to get interested in you?
She hung out with this powder puff.
То он
James Tierney.
солгал, короче, что-то вопрос. Блин, ладно,
How
подзабыл.
well do you know James Tiernan?
I know he works some kind of plebeian job at Rawlings Bowling Alley.
Thank you for the information, Mr. McCaffrey.
Текс. Не надо в боулинг.
You're behind the wheel.
Не получим мы уже максимально, наверное, звезд в этом деле. Ну ладно. Хрен с ним. Ну. Ну.
11 King.
The message from Captain Donnelly returned to Central. Go to.
11 King, en route. Let's not keep the man waiting, Phelps.
Куда ты поешь? В боулинг или в этот? Интересно, куда он отвезет? Центра нет. Туда. Опять какое-нибудь письмо? Или что?
Captain is downstairs with Ray Pinker and Carruthers.
Понял. Иду. Я немножко заблудился. О, господи ты, боже мой. Здравствуйте.
What's this about, Captain?
Господа.
Ray and Mal have some concerns over the Henry and Muller cases, which I don't want aired outside of this room.
The evidence is solid, Captain.
I agree, Rusty. It's just that corpses keep piling up.
Copycats.
I've been
Да,
thinking the same.
Расти,
The
посиди.
notes and the lipstick messages.
Evelyn Summers, Cartel Classic Carmine. Each woman, same brand, same color.
Teresa Tarleton didn't have a lipstick message.
Technically, you're right, Rusty. She didn't have any lipstick, but she did have a message. We found it beneath her dress, scraped with a sharp stick.
What did it say?
You sure you want to know?
Ray?
As far as we can be sure, it said cunt.
Понятно, что это.
That's one way of looking at it.
Looking at what?
Cunt is all about access, Phelps. You're married, so yours is mortgaged. Some of us like to pay by installments. This guy doesn't like to pay at all.
Why are you so angry, Mal?
Because I just had to fire one of my assistants. He was a friend of Jameson's. God knows what he might have been up to.
Captain, we have good leads in the Summers case, but it's up to you to decide how we proceed.
Keep this under your hat for now. And to follow up on Evelyn Summers, I want daily reports.
Да мы сегодня раскроем. Какой ежедневный? Вы что, о чем говорите? Ну давай, погнали.
Operator, give me R&I.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, badge 1247.
Немножко, ну немножко.
I need an address for a Grosvenor McCaffrey.
Только сейчас его допросили, а некого.
Apartment 6, 126 Yale Street, between Ord and Alpine.
Ага.
Thanks, ma'am.
Посмотрим. Сначала в боулинг. Мы не будем скакать как. Сами знаете кто на чем. Так, ну что у нас тут? Боулинг. Да.
And where exactly are we going?
Let me pose a question. Depends. What's it got to do with morals? Would it bother you to put the wrong person away?
Да, ничего его не будет научить.
And whether anyone except the poor son of a bitch in the Slam River found out.
Rolling bowling. Что-то мне припоминаю, мы сейчас будем где-то бегать тут, вроде бы.
Hello, Rusty. Two on your usual lane?
I'm Detective Phelps. Homicide.
You must be new. What's your shoe size?
This is business, Florence. You got a guy who works here by the name of Tiernan?
Sure we do. He's a pin setter. Clears the jams, warps the gutters. Go right in. He'll be hopping around the lanes toward the back.
Сейчас будем бегать.
He's a nice boy.
Thanks, ma'am.
Конечно.
Let's go get him.
Кого брать? За что брать? О, по-моему, побежал.
Tiernan, LAPD.
Понятно. Даже гнаться буду. Понятно. На чем машину сели? Интересно. Прикольно.
What are you waiting for? Get after it.
We might go faster if we weren't carrying the extra weight. These are flashy cars to be parked outside of bowling alley.
The lanes attract a fast-living individual.
Это кто стреляет?
Or a middle-aged individual with
Этот
the need to
стреляет.
feel real.
Keep it steady and I'll try to bust his tires.
Ну давай, держи, стреляй. О, хорош.
Hit him, Cole. Spit him out. Phelps, you gotta get me closer.
Another runner. At least we've got a suspect.
Why do they always run?
Да вот, спроси.
More than one of these homicides. They always seem to lam it.
You know, your theories are not clear and cut by any means. That is the end of that. About fucking time.
If this isn't the killer, we can at least get him for reckless. Show me your hands.
Ну. Теперь что, едем к этому? А как тут наша машина уже оказалась? Приколдесно. Квартиру, да, поеду, наверное. Осматривать. А мы можем ли осматривать квартиру без хозяина, так скажем? Интересная история, да? шестой, да?
McCaffrey is in apartment 6.
Понял. Погнали, 6-я квартира. Третий этаж, похоже. Там 3-4, да, будет чувствовать. О, нет. 5-6 сюда. Здравствуйте. Что, можно заходить, наверное, мне кажется. Ну, погнали. Чё? О! Интересно. То ли уже опять подкинули. Угу. Это да. Мы.
What are you doing in here? From the LAPD, ma'am. Do you know where we might find McCaffrey? I'm his neighbor. Is he in trouble?
Look,
Случилось.
we need to find him, and in a hurry. Are you going to give me trouble?
He has a pigeon coop up on the roof.
Угу.
He spends his mornings up there when he's been drinking. How do we get up there? Down the hall and up the stairs.
Drunk and in command of a carrier pigeon. Surely we can write him up for that. A citation at least.
Что такое? Что такое? А, ну это ерунда. Это ерунда.
Incidental.
Угу. Угу. Так, что у нас еще тут есть? Пол я смотрел. Вот. Ага. Письмецо пропавшее. Точнее, второе, да. Так, и что у нас еще? Займет много времени, тебя подлечат, и ты приедешь домой. Я вернул твои вещи в твою сторону, комнату на двери и замок, и ты сможешь приходить и уходить, когда пожелаешь. Я буду заботиться о тебе, и ты вернешься к нормальной жизни. Я знаю, что у тебя изменился адрес, поэтому не уверен, что мое письмо дойдет до тебя. Я молю Бога, чтобы ты его получила и прислушалась к моим словам. Я каждый вечер молюсь за тебя и прошу Господа, чтобы однажды постучал в мои. Постучу в дверь, и все плохое между нами забылось. С любовью, понимание, твоя мать Августа Саммерс. Аугуста. Да, это улика. Это серьезная улика. Угу. Так. Ну что, пошли наверх. В голубятню. Где-то вверх по лестнице. Куда? Ну? Куда идти-то? Бабка старая. Вот. Ну что там стал, стоишь? Медал. Что это такое? Вот. Господик. Сейчас будем задерживать. Он там разговаривает с голубями. Понятно. Чё они все бегают? Бегают. Давай. Люди, разойдитесь, мы тут, нас видите. Серьезное расследование. Все. Попался. Да. Это да.
We need to get downtown and wrap this thing up. Gotta be the cap. Unless Tyranny set him up. I don't think that asshole Jameson could have done it, do you?
Да, похоже на Макафи что-то сделал. Но мы Тирну вообще даже еще не допрашивали. Ну понятно, да.
You think the list is exhaustive, Rusty? Who am I to argue?
Listen, let's just work the case in hand, shall we? Then we can sit down and put all the puzzle pieces together.
Нормально.
I'll hold you to that.
Вау. Не. Это не наша работа. Ё-моё, я что-то, мне кажется, не там поехал. Не по той стороне поехал. Ой. Участок. Прибыли. Так, ну что, мы сначала этого Тирнана, наверное, допросим. Угу. Попробуем.
I think Jameson is an aberration.
All right. I'll deal with that degraded lunatic myself. He's got some fearful retribution coming. Tiernan is in one, McCaffrey is in two. I want a confession from one of them.
К Тирнану пойдем.
Don't fail me, young Phelps.
Здорово, мужик. Чё, бегаем?
Why did you run,
Тирнан?
I was the last one to see Evelyn that night. I knew you would think it was me.
Can you describe your relationship with Evelyn?
I barely knew Evelyn.
Keep lying to me and I'll have you charged and in front of a grand jury before your feet touch the ground.
How can you possibly prove Evelyn and I were more than friends?
Тоже кольцо. Насмешки. Книга. Блин, опять что-то не хватает. Что-то мне не хватает. Похоже, нужно было. Так, давайте, знаете, чем мы сейчас воспользуемся.
Is standing around saying nothing, is this some kind of mental torture?
You're off the hook, for now.
Что такое, брат, ответ? Я забыл. Я говорю, ложь. Это ложь. Это не сомнение, но у нас нет улик. Блин. Не знаю, что делать. Блин. Ну ладно.
It's nothing personal. I'm just doing my job. You understand that?
Да, жертва, тогда мы не будем задавать ей вопрос. Обнаружение книги жертвы.
Aristotle's Metaphysics, the book that belonged to McCaffrey.
McCaffrey saw her looking at her once and laughed in her face.
And you're saying Evelyn stole it?
She wanted something of his.
We either hang this on you or McCaffrey. You better give us something.
No, McCaffrey's been in trouble with the law before. I mean, he always makes out it was some kind of labor dispute, but you know, I'm not so sure.
You and Evelyn were drinking together last night, and she had no other place to stay.
I don't know what happened last night. I don't remember.
You're lying, Tiernan. You've been fighting with her. You fought.
I'm not lying. She got up and left. That was it.
Так, это покупка алкоголя, да?
She left, but she came back. She bought you a quart of whiskey to make it up to you. She told the liquor store owner. You're in deep trouble, buddy.
She said she loved me. She wanted to care for me. She would never stop talking about McCaffrey. McCaffrey was a writer, and McCaffrey was a hero. McCaffrey cared for the little guy.
Did you kill her, Tiernan?
I might as well have. I kicked her out. She had nowhere to go.
Понятненько.
Do you own a car, Tiernan?
No, I don't.
Have access to a lug wrench?
No, we use a lot of them to clear jams in the pin setting machines.
Coroner's report says that Evelyn was killed with a wrench. I think you did it and then planted the evidence at McCaffrey's apartment for us to find.
We went to his apartment. McCaffrey was up on the roof. Evelyn stole the book. McCaffrey went crazy when he found out. He said he would put her out of her misery. He can be very cruel.
Так, ладно.
No, don't go. We both want the truth here.
Какой трус?
Can you describe your relationship with Evelyn?
У меня нечего предъявить.
I barely knew Evelyn.
Ой, бля. Я прошу прощения, я не успел нажать.
Keep lying to me and I'll have you charged and in front of a grand jury before your feet touch the ground.
How can you possibly prove Evelyn and I were more than friends?
Не знаю. Я не знаю, что делать. Короче, я тут плохо миссию прошел.
How come this is so hard to believe? A man and a woman getting along, liking each other, just as friends.
Evelyn was missing a ring from her right hand.
That's strange. She always wore it. A big black circular disc with a white E in the middle.
Печатные машинки.
It was made from an old typewriter key. A present from the prop department at her old movie studio.
We're going to talk to McCaffrey. You need to think about what you've told us, Tiernan. You're not in the clear.
Ну, иди, блин. Жесть, конечно, жесть. Что-то я намудил немножко. Видите, вот одну ошибку допустил, что-то там надо было предъявлять ему. Что-то затупанул.
People who run from the police usually have something to hide.
Touché, detective. Let's see where this takes us.
Связь с
You told
жертвой.
us you barely knew Evelyn Summers.
She hung around sometimes. I had very little to do with her.
Не понял. Не понял. И чё? Ну, давайте тоже сейчас интуицию сразу используем. Но это понятно, что ложь. Это понятно. У нас, я имею в виду, будет у нас, ну, будет там этот, как его, книга, наверное. Угу. Не, ну тут книга.
We know that you thought enough of her to loan out your copy of the metaphysics.
I what? I did no such thing. That bitch stole that book from my apartment. The impudent fucking moron.
And that made you angry?
Angry? I was livid. Looking up at me with that stupid face of hers, begging me to forgive her. Aha. Very good. That's one to you, detective.
Evelyn died sometime around midnight. Remind me, where were you?
I was at home, writing. I'm working on a manuscript.
Здесь.
You're lying, McCaffrey. You were out at the rail yard.
And what do you have that proves I was there?
Письмецо у тебя нашли, другалечек. Так, а где оно? А, вот.
How about half of Augusta Summer's last correspondence with her daughter?
What are
Что
you
скажешь?
talking about?
А, ну да, не знает,
After
видишь?
you were done beating Evelyn, you searched her and found her mother's letter. That old lady's anguish amused you.
I know nothing about a letter or Evelyn's goddamn mother.
So what was it doing on your writing desk?
I don't know, but if I didn't put it there, somebody else did. Try exercising your powers of deduction on that.
We found the lug wrench that Evelyn was battered with in your apartment, and the note from her mother, and your blood-stained clothing. We have you cold, McCaffrey.
You think if I could be bothered to murder Evelyn Summers, I would be stupid enough to...
Ну, надеюсь, чтобы хватило, но да, такое все.
I don't believe you, Grosvenor. The evidence says that you killed her.
You can prove that I wanted to kill Evelyn?
Tiernan is prepared to testify that you threatened Evelyn's life in his presence.
Self-preservation. That's understandable. Okay, I'll level with you. Tiernan killed Evelyn. He came to me for help. I listened to him, and he explained why he did it.
Tiernan went to you for help. You expect me to buy that?
That's how it went down.
Интересный
I told him he made a
поворот.
terrible mistake, but he would be throwing his life away if he went to the cops. I took his things and told him I would dispose of them.
But you didn't.
Speak to Tiernan. He'll give it up.
Хорошо, поговорим. Пока.
It's either going to be you or Tiernan, Grosvenor.
Make it stick, detective. The party.
Да, это-то понятно, что там есть хороший адвокат.
Grown man playing at being boy.
Не хотим. Я опять назад побежал.
You spoken to McCaffrey? I can go, it's all been cleared up?
Not quite. We have one more question we need to ask, James. Then I think we will be done.
Sure. Go ahead.
So Evelyn passed out, and you walked out. What happened next?
I woke up in the morning, very hungover. I thought Evelyn would have come back.
I know you're lying, James. You went out looking for her. Tell me what really happened.
I don't know what you're talking about. How can you say I wasn't in that hotel room?
Обвинение МакКефри. Блин, тут сложное такое, сложное дело.
You wound up at McCaffrey's. You were still incredibly drunk. You passed out on his floor. It's time to tell me what really happened.
McCaffrey woke me up the next morning, and he showed me the lug wrench and the letter and the box. And he said I came in with him last night.
Врет. Ну, понятно, накачать его.
He said that I killed Evelyn. And that it was all over the radio. And that he would protect me. And I don't know, detective, for the life of me, I can't remember a goddamn thing. And I was angry with her. Really angry. I could have done it. Was it me?
Кто знает? Кто знает? Закончим пока с тобой, дорогой летчик.
Wait here.
It's a goddamn zoo in here today. I can't talk.
Put the heat to one of them, Phelps. Your choice.
I say we bust in there and find the goddamn evidence.
Вы спросите, а куда это я? А я отвечу. А кто его знает? Наверное, надо было на машине ехать. А что, телефоном нельзя, да, воспользоваться? О, замечательно, бля. Ну, короче, мы улики не собирали. Короче, плохо закончили это дело. Да-да-да, кап-кап. Плохо дело, короче, отыграли мы. Еще одна улика должна быть. Пошли предъявлять обвинение, значит.
Grosvenor McCaffrey, I'm charging you with the murder of Evelyn Summers. She was a sad lady who never hurt anyone except herself. I hope God finds a way to forgive you.
Congratulations, boys, you bagged the fine catch. Another red to boot. Grand. I want you to put this business about a repeat offender out of your mind. This McCaffrey creature shows no remorse. And neither will the grand jury. You would have to walk a long mile to find a better candidate for an unmarked plot in the prison graveyard.
Плохо. Дело плохо закончили. Я бы бы сказал, отвратно. Меня закрыли на 5, ни хрена себе. То есть 2 неправильных вопроса, все улики я нашел, 2 неправильных вопроса, да, ну да. Ну странно. Что-то, блин, мне кажется. Не, ну 5 звезд это смешно, ладно. Еще тут у нас сейчас уже дело-то закончилось. Сейчас посмотрим. ФСБчик. В общем, оказывается, даже и, в принципе, если ты правильно все делаешь, 5 звезд дают, видите.
Get back off this fucking bridge! They'll start walking the mortars back to their own positions! We only have minutes! I'm in charge here, Sergeant! Get your men off the bridge, Lieutenant! What's your unit, Sergeant? We don't have time for this, Lieutenant! What's your unit, Sergeant? I company 22nd Marines, Lieutenant, and we just saved your ass by fording the river. My orders are to reconnoiter the... I think that point is now moot! You have 10 men left! My orders are to save what's left! Move out!
Тут же сейчас просто езда будет. Ездить, письма собирать.
Go right ahead. They've both been rinsed in gasoline like the previous letters, so I can't lift a print.
Так, сейчас я посмотрю, сколько у нас времени прошло. Боже, больше часа. Твою налево. Твою налево, твою налево. Ну или на этом заканчивать, да? А там, наверное, может быть, 2 успеем сыграть, посмотрим, да? Давайте тогда. Просто что-то сегодня как-то это не так. Ладно, ничего страшного, тогда эту закончим в следующий раз. В следующий раз. Ладно. Ну, в общем, да, просто немножко тупанул. Ну, блин, так хорошо проходил и что-то подтупил. Ладно, ничего бывает. Прошли. 5 звезд получили. Ну, подумаешь, там пару улик, точнее пару вопросов неправильно задал. Посмотрим тогда в следующий раз, может в 2 дела успеем. Там, потому что не такой уж большой будет. На сей раз, на сегодня хватит. Ну все, ребят, вам спасибо за просмотр. Ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь на канал, оставляйте комментарии. Все, давайте увидимся в следующей части. Всем пока.